Red Hot Speed by the Red Sea. Welcome everybody to Saudi Arabia. It's practice here today at the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit.
Okay, we need a few solid laps here to help us calculate a good race strategy. Mind that front wing, it's going to need replacing if it takes too much damage. We didn't really get the data we needed on that run. You might want to give it another go. Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage. Okay, we can take you this lap. Okay, you've got front wing damage. This will have a major impact on performance unless you box for a new one. Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
This is the top tier of motorsports.
Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be
We need to be sure we can manage the tyres through a lap, so try to keep the wear down through each corner. Be especially careful accelerating on corner exit. Temperature's so important for your tyres. Cool down laps are now vital after a push lap so that we don't light up the rubber too much, not to mention recharging the battery. Okay, we haven't hit our program targets. Come in and take a look at the data, and if we have time, we'll rerun the program. Okay, be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage. Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage. Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
And that's it. Practice is officially over. Until next time, goodbye.
Okay, on this test I want you to focus on managing your ERS. It's really important for our overall race pace, and so a reminder that you've got modes to play with in your MFD. See how they feel for you and see how different modes drain the battery. Mind that front wing, it's going to need replacing if it takes too much damage. Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage. Nice one. Okay, reminder, a neat way to recharge the batteries by lifting at certain points when you feel you can and by gentle braking. Try those this lap and see how you get on. Okay, you've got front wing damage. This will have a major impact on performance unless you box for a new one. Didn't really get the data we needed on that run. You might want to give it another go. Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap. That looked bad. Are you alright? Let me know you're okay.
And if today's practice is anything to go by, fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who will be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying. With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow. We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the Lower Hejaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Stroll, Gasly, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Sargent, and Ace. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish. But let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Big pressure at the start of the race, Crofty, for all of them up and down the grid, no matter where you are. But the drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
Now, I know this isn't where we wanted to start this race, but given we're back here at the back of the grid, it means there's an opportunity to move forward. I've seen you karting back in the day. Let's go and do it again. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Watch out for understeer in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as quickly as you can. Push, push. Okay, gap to the car in front, 9.9 seconds. We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Okay, gap ahead, 17.3 seconds. Caution, caution. Valtteri has dropped out of the race. Green flag. Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon. push now. We're boxing this lap. Okay, mate, we've got some clear track around us now, so let's use it and make this next lap a quick one. Let's go. Okay, we're currently at the back. That's last place. Ocon ahead. Okay, they're on old softs. Your pit window's now open. Pit window is open. Okay, 12 laps to go. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap. Okay, forget the targets for now. We've got to focus on the pit stop. Okay, mate, that's it. Go, go, go. That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Gap to the car in front, 29.0 seconds. Okay, mate, I know you've had a couple of offs, but don't worry about it. Get your head down and let's just focus on keeping the next few laps within the white lines. Okay, unlucky, mate. It was a good try, but we didn't quite meet our targets. Not to worry, get your head down and chin up, and let's focus right the way into the checkered flag. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 34.7 seconds. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 40.1 seconds. Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Okay, take it easy on the car, we can't sustain this level of damage. Front wing's damaged. Expects a lot of understeer unless we replace it. Okay, mate, right, that front wing damage is going to hurt us. We've really got to look after it now. Let's put everything into protecting that front wing, please. Okay, unlucky, mate. That wasn't quite what we needed, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down and chin up. There's a long way to go. Okay, you have a lot of front wing damage. Box for a new one. Blue flag. Understood. Stopping this lap. Okay, go, go, go. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres. Flag, blue flag. Okay, blue flag conditions, create a gap and let the car behind through. incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful. If you continue to cut corners, the stewards are going to give you a penalty. Be careful. Blue flag. Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us,